Welcome back. As we earlier said that we're going to be talking about the celebrations and occasions, and of course awaiting the Egyptians is resurrection and Sham Nisim, or the Easter, and how to be receiving those festivities and enjoying yourself and receiving your family members and gatherings and preparing your house for that. We have with us here Ms. Reem Hassan, and she's an interior designer, and she's going to tell us how to enjoy those special days in our house when we're receiving. Good morning, Ms. Hassan. Let's first talk about the main features of successful interior designing. Is it the space? Is it colors? What is it exactly?
It's a combination of so many items together. The space plays an important role, and how to lay out the furniture and the design according to the needs and according to the space, so it's not cause clutter or negative energy. Also, colors play an important role in the design, depending on the owner's taste and on the fashion, because colors change the same as the clothing. It changes every season. Spring and summer, there is a change in colors, and fall and winter.
Some things, sometimes we like certain designs, but they are not for our houses. Why?
It's either the space might be too light for a big design or a bulky design. You need bigger space. Sometimes the color gives you a different impression than what you wanted. For example, if you have a small room and you do a dark color, you start feeling it's a little bit gloomy, it's too small. Unlike if you do it in brighter colors, cheerful colors, it depends on the whole design together with the colors.
We're talking about gathering and happiness and festivities and joyful time and everything like that. How can we add a touch of happiness and a touch of joy to any house, to the corners and to the colors, to even the household that is inside that house?
Colors, we said, play an important role. So when you start with the colors, they can choose colors that cheers you up, that shows the brightness, the happiness. For example, you go with the lighter colors. For this season, for example, the trend is pastels, yellows, lilacs, roses, sky blue.
Gray is in fashion also?
Gray and yellow together are the nice Pantone color of the year. Each year, each season, there is this entity. It's a separate company. It brings the color of the year. So this year, 2021, that is yellow mixed with gray. Sometimes it's only one color, but this year these are the two colors.
Right. Also, besides the colors, how the main steps of setting a table?
Setting a table for festivities, for example, or to design a dining table.
Well, designing a dining table is important also because each year has its own. But setting the table, the new ideas, the inspirational ways and stuff like that.
It's always flowers. Nowadays, the fashion is to choose a color theme and then you play it. Whatever colors you prefer, maybe it would be better if you choose it from the new palette. You choose 2 colors, 3 colors, and then start playing with it. For example, the placemats, the plates, even the cutlery, the silverware, the crystals. You play with colors of all the items, and of course when you complement it with nice flowers phases. Maybe we are in Easter and Sham el-Nissim. You can use colored eggs. You can add small bunnies, white bunnies or colored bunnies in porcelain or something. Also chicks and ducks, but here in Egypt the hero is always the eggs, the colored eggs, if we're talking about Easter. If in general, depends on the celebration. For example, Christmas you use greens,
is very colorful,
or gold and black. If you have a nice, you want an elegant setup, you use colors with gold, blues and golds, black, or even white. If it's a wedding, you choose the color depending, of course, on the bride's taste, or the some brides choose tropical colors. You find fuchsia, orange, green, very striking colors, but cheerful. Some others like to keep it a little bit subtle, whites, roses. So it depends mainly on the occasion and on the taste of the receiving house or event.
You talked about setting a table in general, but let's talk about setting a table, for example, an upcoming feast. We have an upcoming Fitr, Eid Fitr or Lesser Bayram, and an upcoming Easter and Resurrection. So let's talk Resurrection first and then Eid al-Fitr.
You start with the menu, you know the guest, and you choose the menu. If it's for Easter, then bright and cheerful colors. It's springtime and it's resurrection and a lot of festivities. So if we choose nice colors like yellow, for example, greens, blues, maybe a combination of all three colors, or you can go roses and blacks. It depends on the color, but you choose a nice color. You choose the centerpieces. The centerpieces can be floral, a nice flower bunches, and the more the accessories and the flowers, the more the table is cheerful. And you can add some candle holders. You can add a lot of eggs, and choosing the dishes. You can play in the design of the dishes. Like they do a lot of nice designs for Easter, especially the eggs. They make it look like chicks. They do nice cakes as if it's like in a garden with flowers. You try to set it up in a way that is appetizing, of course, and also has a design element in it, not just the regular plates. You add a lot of flowers, you add leaves, greenery, candles, so you feel that the table is rich, and the celebration, it brings happiness and a lot of positivity.
Also, space is something that is a dream for every person inside his house. Not only inside the bedroom, but also inside the living rooms and receptions and everything. So it saves place for guests to be allowed more guests. Talk to us about how to create space and how to even make use of every corner inside the house in a unique way.
First of all, you need to choose the items. Number one, you have to know dimensions of the space. If we're talking about the living room, you start drawing a layout with the dimensions of the furniture. Without this layout, you might not get the result you're expecting, because you need, if you know the dimensions of the living room, then you will be able to choose the right sofa, the right chair. You need a television table or unit. And then these are the main items, and of course a coffee table. These are the main items that everybody needs. If you have more space, you can add more items. If you don't have space, then less is more. It's better to keep it uncluttered because a lot of things on the floor would make you stumble and would generate negative energy. So when you declutter, it gives you peace of mind. And once you are settled with the layout, how you will place your furniture pieces, you can start choosing the designs that go together. If the space is small, then you need to choose small pieces of furniture. Not only small in terms of dimension, but also in terms of design. You don't have a bulky chair arm, you don't have a bulky sofa. If you have a big space, then you can choose whatever fills the space and be at ease and comfortable that any piece will fit. But most important is the design and the dimension. Sometimes the dimensions are small, but the design is bulky. So you need to avoid this. Once you're settled with the furniture, you start choosing the fabric. Depending if it's a living area, okay, we'll go with more casual fabrics. If it's a reception where you will receive your guests, you can go with more rich fabrics such as velvets, silks, and you start choosing also the curtains. Also depending on the windows and the light coming in, you can choose either sheer fabrics only if the space is limited and the windows are not too, or if you need to dim the room, then you have to choose heavy curtains, but always choose a color that is not too that does not cause a bulk on the walls. It can be a subtle color matching with the walls and of course the furniture. Once you're done with the furniture and the fabrics, you start choosing the carpets. At the end, you choose the colors of the walls, not at the beginning.
Really? Usually people or we choose the colors of the walls.
That's a common thing that people do, but the color of wall comes at the end. Because you have a lot of elements that you have already chosen, like the fabric, curtains, the carpets, and the one color that unites them together is the color of the wall. If you start with the color of the wall, you will limit yourself with the fabrics and everything. Sometimes after you choose a fabric, you might want to use a contrasting color. For example, if you use bare colors on the furniture, you might add a striking color to the walls or a darker color, for example, blues, shades of greens, dark grays, or you want to spice it up with the
what are colors of the walls that would give us space? I mean, usually if I want to create more space, I would a mirror over a wall.
Yes.
So are there other colors also? I mean, paints itself that would give us more space over the walls?
Yes, the paints, if they are on in lighter shades, then they give space because it depends. You feel the space and you feel the darkness and the depth of the color through the light coming. The color reflects the light, so each color reflects in a different way. You have to do a sample on the wall, try to choose as light shades as you can. Not necessarily very light, but you can choose nice tones that are subtle, too dark. Some colors are striking. For example, orange is a very striking color. Not everybody can feel comfortable with. On the contrary, blues and greens, especially in the lighter shades, are very comfortable to live with. Now lilac is very fashionable. Softer tones of lilac. Also certain shades yellow, very light yellow, are nice. And use the color with the base of a neutral color. For example, there is a shade of striking blue, and there is a shade of blue that is derived from grays. It has gray tone in it. This is a more comfortable color to live with when it has neutral elements in it. Because the color is not only one color. What you see is not only one color. It's a combination of several pigments that come out at the end in the of or in the tone of blue. A combination of pigments that come out as green. Because you know, colors, there is a color wheel. Reds, oranges, yellows, greens, blues, violets. Whenever you combine any two opposite colors in this wheel, they come out with a different tone that has a gray shade in it. Gray is not only driven from black and white. Combining two colors give you a certain tone of gray. For example, orange and blue. In specific tones, they come out with a cool gray. Greens and reds. It's a study. You have to, this is something that...
This is a good tip. Sometimes you hire anyone who can tell you that he can mix two colors and bring you that particular shade, and you believe them.
Yeah.
And usually the result is a disaster.
A disaster. That's why we always advise people to go with ready-made colors. You go for companies that sell a palette, and you choose from the palette the code. And you go, first of all, you buy, for example, a small
packet
quantity, yes, in 1 kilo, and you up it on the wall in a like 50 by 50 or 60 by 60 centimeters. See it on the wall, because the color differs from the paper of the palette, and you apply it to the wall, it differs completely. And to a big area, it might come out as darker or come out as lighter. So you have to try it on the wall first. Never ever buy a color in full quantity without trying a small quantity on the wall.
Of course.
And preferably buy a ready-made color from a palette with a code. We have a lot of different companies. You choose from their palette, and you do the sample. After you like the sample, you buy the whole quantity. And they have a lot. For example, the palette might reach up to 1,000 tones. If you allow the guy, the painter, to mix the colors, he might be very talented, but he will apply the first phase, and then what will happen if you needed to do it again? He might not be able to do the same combination like the first time.
Even if he is the same person?
Yes, because he takes some of this and some of... Next time...
He doesn't know the right proportions.
Yes, it's by sense. So it brings out a very nice color. But the next time, the sense might differ a little bit. But when you go to a brand of painting and choose from their palette, you guarantee that each and every time you will apply the color, it will come out the same. And for example, after several years, to just repaint part of the wall, it got dirty for any reason, you will go and buy it will be the same. Of course, time has an effect on the walls. The new wall will be different than the old wall, even with the same color. But the result will be much closer. So always go with a branded paint. It's better and safer, and for so many reasons.
Of course. Right. Is landscaping a part of the interior designing? I mean, usually the new innovative and inspirational ideas with landscaping and greenery in general is not just within the gardens, but have came to balconies and surfaces and things like that. Tell us about the new ideas.
Yes, with the limited spaces, not everybody has a garden, but would like to have a small garden.
It's an idea now.
Yes, and greenery has a lot of it brings happiness to the house. There's a lot of positive side effects to greenery in a house. So you can have a whole balcony or terrace and add to it some plants. Or maybe do the flooring in artificial grass. Add the plants in pots. Sometimes you can add it on the wall, small shelves or small boxes. Even get some of your old kitchen utensils like teapots or jars and put them on the wall with nice paint them in nice colors and add small plants in it. There is also a green wall, very fashionable and used in so many designs.
And in a human form with a falcon's head. He wears a double crown, showing royalty, being a ruler of all of Egypt. Amongst the most important places of his cult is the city of Nekhen,